Welcome. I'm Cynthia Hoven with eurythmyonline.com, teaching you how to build your own personal eurythmy practice of mindful movement. This is Lesson 3 of the comprehensive webinar series featuring our work with sacred texts for the Christmas season. Remember, these lessons are entirely funded through your donations at eurythmyonline.com. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Good morning, friends. Good morning from around the world. And hold on, I'm going to fix my screen view. Not interesting for you, interesting for me. There you go. Full screen. And just a second, let me fix my things here. Although it's nice that I can see just a little bit. Okay. And there we go. All right. Good morning, December 14th. And please sign in. It always makes me happy to read where you're from. So we're approaching the dark time of the year where the darkness spreads over the earth, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. And this is my favorite time of the year because all becomes still and I'm not drawn out so much, but I can listen to the quiet places inside. And that's what I'm trying to cultivate also with the verses that we're doing in this season. The birth of the light inside us, the complement of the summer light, which is all around us. And of course, we know it's been 9 months, actually the time of a pregnancy, since this COVID quarantine has spread over the earth. Many of us have been more or less shut down since March. What have we done? What are we doing with our time of gestation, if you will? Are we growing inwardly? Are we tending to this opportunity to go deeper, practice self-knowledge, practice self-care, listen to the essentials? And so as we do our eurythmy today, next week in this season, let's really dedicate it to this planetary opportunity that we have. We could call it a challenge. We could call it a sorrow. Let's call it an opportunity. And remember, just as when I do the opening verse, and I will say, I seek within me all of these creative forces. Let's also remember that we're seeking them for everyone in the world. We're all connected in the common etheric space, the common spiritual space, even as we live here in the physical body. So let's gather our forces. I'll speak the eurythmy meditation to you. Then we're going to do our rod exercises. So please have your copper rod nearby. And then we'll go into our angel wings, our contraction expansion, our soul exercises. And then at the end, we'll once again turn to this really beautiful work for Christmas in preparation for the Spirit Child. Standing in your center, remember the words of the eurythmy meditation. I'm going to move my hands when I speak it. You don't need to move your hands. You may if you want to, but through moving my hands, I'm inviting you to put your attention into these different parts inside of you, outside of you, and so on. Are you ready? I seek within me creative forces working, creative powers living. The heavy weight of earth tells me through the word of my feet. The forming power of the air tells me through the singing of my hands. And the strength of heaven's light tells me through the thinking of my head how the great world in the human being speaks, sings, and thinks. Are you ready? Are you centered? Are you in relationship to your core? Then please take your copper rod. Once again, there might be one or two who don't have your rod yet. This is a copper rod, and you can use a wooden stick, a dowel, if that's what you have at home. And I want you to know that I've included a document in the PDF that I'll send you today for the new people to tell you how to get a copper rod if you need one. All right, got it? Remember, I like to call these copper rod exercises my wake-up exercises. And here it's 8:30 in the morning almost. It's time to use this, really bring in some enlivening forces. Are you ready? We push down, grounding, keeping your feet well on the floor, lift up, feel this wonderful stretch between below and above. Arms are parallel, feet tight together. To the right side, remember how straight you want it to be, in front of your right shoulder, not too high. No? That means the left arm is crossed over well. To the left, got it? To the right, yes. Above, straight, below, and back in the middle. Below, above, to your right, to your left, to your right, above, below, in the middle, below, above, right, left, right, above, below, in the middle. The earth is firm beneath my feet. The sun is bright above me. And here stand I, straight and tall, all things to know and love. Now let's do that with stepping. You remember, when the rod goes down, I step forwards. When the rod goes up, I step back. And when it goes from side to side, I step in that direction. Are you ready? We go down to the floor, down to gravity, up to levity, to your right side, to your left, to your right. Step back, up, step forwards, down, and now sideways takes you back to where you began. Again, down, up, right and together, left and together, right and together, up, down, in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Practice really being clear in your mind as you do this. Down, up. Feel your right side as you go to the right. Feel your left side. Feel your right side. Open your back. Think about your back. Think about your front. In the middle. Nothing to get bored at with this. There's so much mindfulness to practice. All the different surfaces of your body. Practice your back. Practice front and down. Back in the middle. Let's do it with 3 steps if you can in your space. 1, 2, 3. 2, 2, 3. 3, 2, 3. Together. 2, 3. 5, 2, 3. Back. Forwards. Back in the middle. Now now 2 steps, or 1 step, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back in the middle, and in standing, below, above, right, left, right, above, below, back in the middle. Thank you. Rod down. Remember how to do the 12 fold? Your thumbs are in front of the rod. You pop the rod up, sits on the thumbs. 1, 2, 3. This is a feeling of lightness or fullness. My lungs are filled. And then release, feeling heaviness. 4. Take the rod around your right side. Turn your hands around. 5, 6. Pop the rod up behind you. Feel your back space. 7, 8, 9. Drop the rod. 10. Take it around your left side so it's made a full circle around you. Turn your hands. 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's do it with stepping. Take 1 step for 1, 2, and 3 for each of them. 1, 2, 3. Stand still for 4, 5, 6. Step backwards for 7, 8, and 9, and stand still for 10, 11, 12. Ready? 1. Breathe. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Lightness, ground. Lightness, ground. Feel your rhythmic system, your breath system engaged. 7. Excuse me for breathing dramatically. I wanted to be sure you heard it. 7, 8, 9. You don't have to breathe as loud as I did there. Thank you. All right. And let's try the waterfall. Remember, this is about making a beautiful complete circle, a beautiful arch around you, and drop and catch. Take it around the front. Again, remember the entire arch is beautiful. And sense in your back where it is. Now, from working with many people I know, if you have a collar on, you'll have a special problem. For those of you who might have a collar, sometimes the rod gets stuck there at the collar. You have to be sure that you're not doing that. Put it below the collar back there and drop and catch. Or you don't even have to touch your body. You can hold it a little behind your collar. Try again. Beautiful arc. And catch. And again. And catch. Great. And now let's do that with a little bit of movement, walking forwards and back, coming forwards, around, catch, and back. Again, coming forwards, around, and catch. And once again, forward, around, and catch. All right, let's put our rods away. How do you feel? A little more awake than when we started, more attuned, more brisk perhaps. And now remember how eurythmy can help you to feel your center, your heart center. And with that, we're going to turn to our expansion contraction exercise as we begin building the practice for today. And we're working in this month, in this module, with the Christmas verse. Listen to it again before we move it and feel your soul moving through these large and small experiences. We begin with a line that is small. In the eye of the soul is mirrored the light of hope of the world. Holy wisdom of worlds speaks in the human heart. The Father's eternal love sends to earth the Son, who on life's pathway sheds bounty of heaven's light. And now what I just asked you to do with your mind, with your feeling, let's do that with our whole body. And I'm just saying, let's do it with our arms. Let's do it with our whole etheric body. We start small. So draw your forces from all directions to your heart. And the eye of the soul is mirrored. And now expand your whole etheric body, big, the light of hope of the world. Holy wisdom of worlds speaks in the human heart. This is a moment to believe in yourself. Reach out, more light. The Father's eternal love sends to earth the Son, who on life's pathway sheds bounty of heaven's light. Feel your openness. Bask in that for a moment, and from there we're ready to do the angel wing exercise. Lift your arms above your head. Imagine your angel standing behind you, who is going to be accompanying your movement in a counter movement. The angel wings rise as yours fall. Feel your scapula. Feel your back space. Your eyes go soft. Open your arms wide. There you and your angel wings are together. Take your wings all the way down. Fold them behind your back. Palms forward. The angel wings are lifted above you so that you have this whole brightness of your back space illuminated. And rise. Really open. Feel these beautiful white wings. Or at least mine are white. And drop. If you've got peacock wings, I don't mind. And open wide. And drop. The angel wings are above you as you go down. And open. Good. And drop. Unfold them wide. And up. So let's do a bit of walking with here. From here, let's walk forwards as we lift our arms. We walk forwards into the front space. The angel wings drop. We walk backwards. The angel wings are crossed above your head as you stand so far back. Come forwards. Angel wings are low, but you're high. And back. And forwards. And once more back. From here, I like to do the second pair of wings, which I taught to you last week. The second pair of wings, see, I've got my arms still back here, waiting, ready to go. The second pair of wings, as we learned last week, live in the rhythmic system, the heart-lung system. They don't go up and down. They go around us at the heart level. And they have this little movement like water rising and falling. Let's see if you remember. Lift your arms wide, but feel them like wings. Lift them up a little bit, bring them forward, and cross them in front of you. Lift your arms here, open and expand to the world. Lift them up a little, bring them forward and down. I think you can feel that a little bit like a gentle rocking. How does that nourish your heart, your breath? Deep breathe. Let's walk just a little bit with this one. You can take a step or two back and step forward and cross your wings below. Rising back and forwards. And rising back and rest. Thank you. And now we're ready to do our 3 soul exercises, the Ah reference, the hope U, and the love A. Remember, these are the soul exercises that bring health and healing to the etheric body by means of these working with your soul experiences. And the soul, as we know, the astral body is connected to the archetypes that we were born out of, star forces, planet forces. And they're always accessing these deep archetypes of health. These archetypes that we meet at night, every night when we go to sleep. And stunningly, we learn that when we do eurythmy, we touch archetypes in the same way that we touch them when we sleep at night. Someday we'll have a chance to have a more in-depth conversation about all these things. But let's begin here with the Ah reverence exercise. We'll do that 7 times. This is my favorite one for releasing stress, overcoming insomnia, strengthening the immune system per se. This relation between front space, loving the world, and back space, drawing in health forces from the invisible archetypal world. Join me 7 times. As you move, with gratitude, think of all the things the Creator has made for our joy, and then remember the archetypes that we're born out of. Feel yourself surrounded by star forces as you drop your hands in reverence. As you stand here, hopefully your back is already tingling with this sensation of stars. Now, once again, even as we wake up in the morning, we just fill ourselves immediately with what comes into our senses. Ah, and backwards. Ah. With reverence, we give thanks for what's greater than we are. And let it fill your back all the way down to your heels. Deep breath. And again, eurythmy is practicing. Practice wonder and amazement, and then practice reverence. And practice allowing that to flow into you. Feel your back. Again, to the world. And feel your back. Your eyes are soft. All the way down to your heels. And remember, we are here practicing imagination, and I mean that in a very vivid way. Imagine you're seeing flowers and things. You're not seeing the computer screen. Imagine you're seeing this a beautiful place, the sense world. Perceive what your senses do, and then your world of super sensible or imaginations or archetypes. And then this moment is so precious, standing in between. And again, twice more. And open behind you. And one more time. And feel your backspace. And rest. Thank you. As I move now, I can feel as if my wings are just attached to my back, because it really opens that awareness up. Do you know, you can self-identify a little bit. Are you the kind of person who wants to do all three of these exercises as a regular practice? Or is this the one that's more applicable to you? Either reality is possible, but notice how when we're on the computer or tense or shut down, how we have lost this backspace. And this exercise just opens that up. You can walk through the world differently. So if you're that kind of constitution, you might want to focus on this one more than on the others. Let's go now to the second exercise, which we haven't done in depth in the last week yet. The Love A, which is really related to this opening, closing, to this area of the rhythmic system, the heart system. So now, see if you're able to awaken your heart sensations. Let your head be very still. Don't close your eyes, but keep your eyes quiet. And try to feel with your heart that you're connected to an immense world. Try to use a different sensation than you use when you're in your head, in your eyes. Again, keep your eyes open, but let your gaze go really soft and try to say, can I feel someone on the other side of my town? Can I feel someone on the other side of my country, around the world? Can I feel the nature that I'm standing in? Can I feel with my heart? And with this, we'll begin the movement of love and then close with the A. So with spreading the arms wide, a little bit like we do with the wings, but a little different too. Try to feel your heart energy warming your hands all the way through. And then boundaries, E. rightful boundaries. And release. And again, love. A. And you can add to your sensation here that as you do this, you let your peripheral circulation become so open that your hands become really warm. Flood your hands and beyond your hands with this love. A. And boundaries. Again, love. A. Love. A. Again, feeling, not thinking. Love. A. And rest. And if this is your exercise, you'll know it because this is speaking to your own needs to make boundaries, to open and then come back to self. You'll know that. And other people find that they live so much in their head that they can't really get down into here. So I invite you to see, am I actually feeling the world from my heart? Which is part of what the eurythmy process is, teaching us to pay attention to what's going on below the head. All right, and now finally, this week we'll come to the Hope Ooh exercise. As I said, this is especially for people who need to warm the metabolism or who don't feel grounded. This is the one to make you feel that you're really in your legs strongly. Are you ready? We remember the backspace where the angels are. We lean back into that space, feeling hopeful that we can bring spirit health into us. We lift and notice how your breath automatically fills up as you do this and brings imagined spirit, golden, warm light right down through you, past your throat, through the diaphragm, into the lower body. And here the backs of your hands are really together. Also your legs are touching, your feet are touching. You feel really squeezed warmly into yourself. And then release. And you'll notice in releasing, there's a slight release in the abdominal area. And again, hope. And we can think of this hope metabolically, but we can also hope about that we will have the strength to bear everything that's given to us in life. May myself be integrated, standing on the earth. Will I have the confidence to stand straight, take up my life? Hope. Some of you might say, yeah, I feel sometimes like I just can't get into my body. Is this. And rest. And again, hope. And you'll begin to feel also that your abdomen is receiving this like a warm, flooding, golden energy. I called it energy. It's really your etheric force warmed through a spirit. Hope. You should feel here that your breath has really come down all the way to your feet. You shouldn't be holding your breath, right? Release. From my experience with patients, I find not everyone can stand here long enough. Some people just say, look, let me get to this up part. And I want you to notice that. Can you stand here? And as I've said before, maybe a count of about 3, but learn not to have to count. We stand here. Hope. And this is part 2. And this is our final time. Hope. And and rest. Feel your feet so firmly connected to the earth. Feel as if you could stand like this, so upright in every situation of life, really grounded. I find the energy really goes all the way through me here. And I don't necessarily want to walk. This experience is one that we give to patients in another form for people who just can't stand in their life. We work intensively with this sound, ooh, for people who need to get confidence for grounding. If that's you, or if you need to strengthen your metabolism, this might be the exercise for you to focus on more than the others. All right. I'd like to do now the Christmas verse with you from the Calendar of the Soul, the verses by Rudolf Steiner for the different weeks of the year. I'm going to step over to my book collection for a moment. Rudolf Steiner, who created Eurythmy, wrote forms for a couple hundred pieces of music and also of poetry, I meant to say, and about 100 pieces of music. And we have a compilation of 9 books, 10 books like this. See how well used this is. And this book is a collection of all the forms for the different Calendar of the Soul verses. Let's see if I'm able to show you some of them. Can you see this? This just at random. This is one of the verses. And this form is for 3 people over here. 3 people move on stage in these forms as the reciter reads the poem. And there you go. How's that one? It's kind of dizzying, isn't it? Look at that. So much weaving and interpenetrating. And the forms represent the dynamic thought process of the poem as it unfolds. And so now let me show you the Christmas poem. It's stunning, this one. It's done with 7 people. And it's hard to see, it's hard to be, for you to know what you're seeing, but the form starts with these spirals, these loops. Everyone makes zoom, 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 and then a long journey of a form, and more loops before they come to rest. Quite extraordinary. Someone out there put in the chat, I see, they said, wow, yeah, this is a kind of amazing poem to do. Well, we don't have 7 people. I can't teach you how to do that whole thing, but I would love to teach you a little form to do with it. I hope you're up for doing this with a form as simple as I can make it. And let's be glad that most of the people who are in this class have been doing several weeks, several months of work with me. So you'll be able to follow this pretty well. If you can't follow it, well, we'll work on that later. Okay, remember if I write a P on the front of the board, that means that that's where the audience is or where the front of your room is. So then I make that mark that says this is where you stand. Okay. And now this poem, I feel set free from spell, the spirit child in womb of soul. This is the inward part of the poem. And the inward part would be done towards the front of the room, towards the inside space. And the cosmic part will be done behind you. So we'll do the first part of the form up here, the first 3 lines. And I could just sketch for you that we'll do them in front and the later lines in back, but I don't want to just work with straight lines. I want to make a circle in front, but a circle with a little loop in it and back for the first 3 lines of the poem. And this is as we, as eurythmists, are reflecting on what's going on in the womb of soul. So while you think these words, remember, I'm doing this so that you'll be able to do it in quiet by yourself. You'll think these words, I feel set free from spell. And here, the spirit child in womb of soul. So this whole thing is your womb maybe, and this is where you'll feel the spirit child. So you, standing wherever you are, see if you can move this little circle, and it's really very small. The second circle will be bigger. So stand where you are, and you're going to walk forwards to your left a little bit. As I say these words, I feel set free from spell. Now you're going to make this little loop in the front of you, always facing forwards, the spirit child. Now you'll go back, finish the circle in womb of soul. Okay, let me see. You're going to go to your left. So go to your left. I struggle to see the best way to teach you when I don't have you in my class physically with me. I will turn my back to you. And as if we were in a class, follow me. Start over here. Did I say that wrong? You start to your right. Forgive me. Forgive me. I hope I didn't confuse you. Start to your right. Over here, tiny. I feel set free from soul. Now a little loop here. The spirit child in womb of soul. Do you know what, my dear people? I'm a little humiliated because I got confused. I'll tell you, when I edit this tape, I'm going to have to take that part out. Which way do I go? Yeah, I do go to my right. I go to my, if we were in a live class, I would have a much easier time. I go to my right. I'm going to have to deny being humiliated. And there we go, excuse me. I feel set free from spell. the spirit child in womb of soul. So come, I'm going to go towards the camera. That's what I did, Rod, as I tried to take you with me. So I'm going to go this way here. I feel set free from spell, the spirit child in womb of soul. I'll turn around and do it facing the camera. I feel set free from spell, the spirit child in womb of soul. You've got it? I feel set free from spell, the spirit child in womb of soul. Once more. I feel set free from spell, the spirit child in womb of soul. You see, I actually move very little with my feet, but I'm feeling it all around me. I feel my right side. I feel set free from spell. I feel my front space. Now my little loop, the spirit child. You see what a small loop? In womb of soul. Then the next part of the form, we'll go backwards into the light space. And it says, I'm going to make a big loop and back. In heart high gladness has the holy cosmic word conceived the heaven fruit of hope. And I return to the womb, if you will. Yeah. Let me draw that for you. In heart high gladness has the holy cosmic word conceived the heaven fruit of hope. And I come back to the middle. Okay. Start in the center. Let's do the new part, the back part. In heart high gladness has the holy cosmic word conceived the heaven fruit of hope. And here you come back to the place where the child is born, in your heart, in the manger, in the inner world. Have you got that? Let's go from the beginning. You're going to come, you're coming towards the screen, towards your computer, starting to your right. So come towards the screen. I feel set free from spell. Do your little loop, the spirit child, and go back to where you started, in womb of soul. Now go away from your screen, going to your right backwards. In heart high gladness has the holy cosmic word conceived the heaven fruit of hope. Good. Try that again. Basically a figure 8, starting to the right forwards. I feel set free from spell, little loop, the spirit child in womb of soul. And now backwards, the top or the other part of your 8, in heart high gladness has the holy cosmic word conceived. Come towards your screen, towards your starting point, the heaven fruit of hope. All right. And now to finish the poem, you're going to just have straight lines. So the last part is easier. You're going to walk backwards as if the child is going back to God, growing back in these words, which joyous grows to world expansive, feeling your backspace, and then come forwards out of my being's godly ground. So the last part of the poem will go like this. Which joyous grows to world expanses out of my being's godly ground. Go walk backwards and then all the way forwards to your godly ground. All right, let me turn my back to you and do the whole thing with you. That means when I walk away this way, you walk towards your screen. Right. I feel set free from spell, the spirit child in womb of soul. We're all walking backwards, right? In heart high gladness has the holy cosmic word conceived, the heaven fruit of hope, which joyous grows to world expanses. Feel your wings, feel your backspace open. And now, out of my being's godly ground. Now I'll turn and I'll move my hands like I move them when I'm doing a class with people. I'll pull you and pull you towards your screen. Etherically towards me, right? You come towards me. I feel set free from spell, the spirit child in womb of soul. Now feel your backspace, those angel wings we practice, go back. Heart high gladness has go slowly and big, the holy cosmic word conceive, the heaven fruit, bring this fruit right in of hope. Now go backwards again. I'm pushing you back, which joyous grows to world expanses. Your wings are open. And come forward into this feeling like you had with the D, with the ooh, go down. Out of my being's godly ground. All right, I want to keep going, but I'm going to do something I haven't done before. I'd like to open the chat with Michelle and just ask for as short a time as possible if there's anything I need to do to clarify this, and then we'll keep going. I don't know, this is a little tricky. So Michelle, how are we here?
How are we? Well,
Confused?
the chat is quite active. And yes, okay, let me go through the initial questions. Whoo, okay, remembering a performance version. Okay, hold on. Okay, so Joanna had said, even if you turn around with back to camera, you would still do the movement the same way rather than inverting it. Otherwise, we will invert it if we follow you.
I know.
We teach you sacred
Thank
circle.
you, Joanna.
Inverting it forward to the back, then backwards to the right. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, my screen just jumped. Okay, Carolyn said, oh, Carolyn, here's a wish and a dream. What if you had an overhead camera?
Right? Yeah, anyone want to help me buy that? Yes, of course.
Okay. Oh, Christine has a question. Do we end up in spirit child?
Do you end up, you mean at the end of the poem, out of my being's godly ground? Yeah, yes, and it's also the father ground of all being. That's the firmness all the way into the physical world, that God is our ground.
Now,
where we're waking up.
The good news is we have a number of people saying, all good here, clear for me, great exercise, thank you, great, brilliant, all good, good.
Okay, let's keep going then.
Gina said, how about the hands?
They come next. Are you ready?
Okay, and then last line, Genevieve asked, with the last line, do we finish in the center of the figure eight or at the top?
Let's come right into the center of the womb. The center of the front circle.
Christine said, do we end up with a little spirit child circle?
We end up, we don't walk a curve again, but we end up right there where that spirit child circle is.
Okay, carry on.
Let's go. We laid the seed for the work with the arms last week. We actually went quite far with it. So let's try again. I feel set free from spell. And we do that with the E sound, the dominant sound of that line. I feel set free from spell. The child is waking up. And now we have spirit child. I want to do child, this I sound, and I want to do it starting on your left, going to your right. The spirit child, this little I, and now come back to the tiny oo in womb, womb of soul. Now heart high gladness, we're going to do with 2 H's. In heart high gladness has, and now we will focus on the O, the holy cosmic word, conceived. Let's do conceived with a brilliant E. Conceived. Thinking of how mighty this conception is. Conceived. And now we're going to lay what has been conceived into that front space. The heaven fruit of hope. Once again, we have an oo and an o. The heaven fruit of hope. Okay, and then we have joyous. And joyous we're doing with 2 vowels together. We do O and E, which joyous grows, which joyous, and then I did a big O with you, grows. Do that again. So that's 3 sounds in 2 words, joyous grows, which joyous grows. Got to move that one fast again, which joyous grows. And then right away, we're going to do the sound in world expanses, turning the O inside out. And now comes this great mother picture of the bee for the word being. Out of my beings, a little modified ah sound, God, ah, godly, D, ground. And I like this D feeling. Now that I understand creation, I can place myself on God's ground into the physical world safely because the spirit child is here, born. All right, let's try that again. In standing and then in the form. I feel set free from spell. From left to right, a little I cradling the baby, the spirit child. Where is that child? Deep in my heart, in womb of soul. Where did it come from? And heart high gladness has the holy, I actually didn't, oh, there didn't, holy cosmic word conceived the heaven fruit of hope. Again, this is a child. Let it just tingle with future, which joyous grows to world expanses, backspace. Now bring sky with you, bring the backspace with you as you create this mother gesture. Out of my beings, godly ground. All right, let's try that with the form. I'll turn my back for this time. You'll lose a little bit of my arm movements, but not all of them. I feel set free from spell. Now the I, very tender on this loop, the spirit child from left to right. You bring your womb of soul. Going backwards, your H, in heart high gladness has, big O, the holy cosmic word conceived, the heaven fruit of hope. Now straight back, which joyous grows to world expanses out of my being's godly ground. Okay. And once more with me, with my back to you, kind of pulling you as you do the form. Come towards me to your right. I feel set free from spell, the spirit child in womb of soul. Now you go backwards. In heart high gladness has the holy cosmic word conceived. Come back forwards. The heaven fruit of hope. You go backwards, which joyous grows to world expanses. Now you come this way, out of my being's godly ground. And one last time. I feel set free from spell, the spirit child in womb of soul. In heart high gladness has the holy cosmic word conceived, the heaven fruit of hope, which joyous, right arm up, grows to world expanses out of my being's godly ground. Now let's close with hallelujah. Fold your arms. I purify myself, everything that hinders me from looking upon God. And let's be conscious of these urgent world days that we live in. And let's help the spirit world to be here. We open ourselves to the spirit. We invite spirit light to flow to the earth. Moving the etheric room that you're standing in, cleanse the earth. Cleanse the plant life. Cleanse the animals. Cleanse your heart. I cleanse my speech. Hell. I cleanse my thinking. Cleanse our whole selves. The whole world responds. We invite ourselves and the world to look even further through the threshold. What can we see of spirit? I cleanse my ability to see clearly imagination. I cleanse inspiration. I cleanse intuition. Now, I gather my forces with ooh. My feet are grounded on the earth. I raise myself to the spirit. From the spirit, I receive my ego. And I offer all that I am back to my creator and the entire earth, and receive into myself the blessings to continue on this work, this journey of life. And of course, I offer that to you as your experience, not mine. Thank you. We have a few minutes for questions. In preparation for the questions, I have a couple of things to say. On the PDFs, last week, half a dozen or so of you wrote me afterwards and said, I can't find the PDF that I sent the day afterwards. And I just want you to know that the people who were writing me all had Gmail accounts. And it seems that for some people, Gmail is shunting your emails from me into your so-called promotion mailbox. And so you have to look for that and pull it out and try to teach your computer that I don't belong to the promotion. And if your computer refuses to listen, you'll just have to make a habit of going there. For instance, I hope that you got my essay on the animals that I wrote on Sunday. So that was the first thing. I also am including on this email a new link that I have that if you want to do a donation and don't have PayPal, you can now do this with Stripe, which is another, a little more indirect, but a little more, I don't know how to say, it's an alternative way to use your credit card, and it's called Stripe. I have also written on the email that's coming out today, just the anticipation for what we're going to do going forwards, that we'll take 1 week off at Christmas, and on January 5th, we'll continue with the basic studies, which are the consonants, for 7 weeks. And after that, we're going to start with the advanced work, going into planets and constellations, and at the same time beginning a new course for newbies and people who aren't quite so ready to do the advanced course. And we will continue doing the short courses, which are working better for some people. So having said all that, Michelle, can you take me through the questions, please?
Yes, dear one. Oh my. Yes, wow. I'll just say wow. Okay, let's go back to earlier in the class. Elizabeth asked, do palms turn over during angel wings movement?
Here, this one, they start here forwards, and I keep them forwards all the way. Still facing forwards here. For the second angel wings, it's a little bit different here. Hands are down here. And then as I go up, they turn. And then they, coming forwards, they go down. I lift and turn, and the palms are up here.
Beautiful. Thank you. Then Lisa asked, do we carry the imagination of angel wings in polarity while doing awe reverence?
Yes, although it's kind of it's a help. It's not a requirement, but having done the angel wings, you're ready to open the backspace. It's kind of like a preparation. And always when we do the consonants, we must be aware that we're working with our wings, with the scapula, and not with this shoulder joint. All the consonants should be born out of There, the wings help us.
Wonderful. Thank you. Joanna asked, is there a version of the daily calendar of the soul exercises designed for individuals to use on their own without other dancers, as in using movement specific to each daily verse? Or do we use the vowel gestures and movements associated with each line of the verse?
I wonder, do you mean the calendar of the soul verses, which are weekly? I'm not aware of the daily verses unless you're talking about the ones connected to the constellations, or are they the ones in the staying connected? I've never worked with a daily verse, a daily verse meditative practice. So I don't know where you have that one from, but
Okay,
might be an early study with Rudolf Steiner.
okay. I'm guessing weekly, but we will go on to Genevieve's. Genevieve's
Okay.
question is the PDF you have, in the PDF you have godly expresses a G, but in practice you use an
Oh,
ah.
I did that.
Do we stay with the ah? Also to
My
clarify, the I in spirit child, is it always, that's the second question. Let's let you do the.
Out of my beings, actually, anyone who is conversant enough with eurythmy, you get to choose. Are you going to open to God with a G or open to the Ga with an Ah? You can choose if you know. Otherwise, I would ask you to do what we learned today, oddly ground. But neither one is wrong. I just haven't really taught you the G. Sorry.
It's okay.
I do both, to tell the truth. Out of my beings, oddly round. If you're very fancy, you can try that.
Okay. Let's see. Also to clarify, this is still from Genevieve, the I in spirit child, is it always done left to right or only in the verse?
It is, even in the verse, it could be the other way, but because of where you are on the loop, you want to do it left to right, because you should be going from your left to your right in the verse. So you start going forwards, and then the word child is that loop, the part of the loop where you're going left to right.
Thank you. And I'm guessing after we have a chance to sleep on this and we do it again next week, yes, more clarity will come. Elaine says, sometimes unclear about left-right directions when doing the verse form. When you face us, are you mirroring our movements, or are we to translate your movement in reverse?
Okay. Again, you have seen how I have to struggle to do that with you on a screen. You have seen that. When I'm facing you and pushing and pulling you with my hands, that part of it, then you should not mirror me. You should just go, if I go that way, you should go back that way. If I do this, I mean come towards and go back if I'm facing you. Same thing, if I turn around, follow me like that. Follow my right, left. But the first time I taught you, when I was doing it for myself, not moving you, then I started to my right. I feel such free. And when I did it like that, I was doing it opposite of you. The same phenomenon happens when I teach a live class. And that's why when I teach a live class, I push and pull the students, or I turn and carry them on my piggyback.
It's a good thing you have a very world-sized backpack to carry us in. Yes, we are grateful. Okay, Tish. Oh, and by the way, Ben had said he appreciated. Oh goodness, it's further up in the chat. I'm going to paraphrase Ben. Something about the way you conducted us with your energy. Yes, yes, that was very effective. Okay, coming back to questions. Tish said the final time you went through the form today, it looked as if you ended walking backwards, but I thought we end up walking forward to the top of the circle.
We
Maybe
do. I don't know why you saw that, but no, in fact, we go, which joyous grows to world expanses. Then the last line is walking forwards, out of my being's godly ground, walking forwards.
Tish, you've got it. All right, lots of gratitude.
Dear
Yes,
people, this is why it's so gratifying to teach you how to do simple exercises, sounds, consonants, which are vowels, the real essence of eurythmy. This is why it's so hard to convey poetry with forms on the computer. That part of eurythmy really needs to be live. So.
it does. And our opportunity is to step through that wall. And here we are with you. Okay.
And look forwards to after COVID, where I
Yes.
hope we can all get together in different places and do live classes. But.
Okay, Genevieve said, is there a counter movement with the second set of wings in angel wings?
There is that as I come and fold my wings in the front of the room, the angel is behind me and wide. And then as I lift and go back, the angel goes forwards in the front of the room and folds. This is alluding to a whole nother dimension of study, how the etheric body is always complementing our physical activity. Yeah, big one there. But we always have to imagine that the complement is happening around us.
Thank you.
You know what? Yeah. That's a big one to dwell on.
Okay, lots of gratitude. This class truly was deep, Cynthia. And yes, you are taking us deep and you love that.
Oh, Michelle, are you blowing my cover?
Oh, where were we? Okay, Joanna, coming back to Joanna's question. I was writing with my response and didn't get the answer as to whether or not there are gestures movements for the calendar of the soul verses, the weekly
The
one.
calendar, the weekly one, thank you. No, not by Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner only wrote these group forms. One of them is for 2 people, and the most complex one is for 7 people. And as for whether you do vowels or consonants, that is always, in every case, an artistic choice. We eurythmists have the liberty to make solo forms if we want to, but always I'd prefer to get a group of eurythmists together and do it in concert with people. It's no accident that Steiner wanted to do them together, but it's also justified to build a form like this, which reveals the lawfulness of the poem for one person to do as a practice. And I hope you'll do it. My hope is that you'll all take this up to do the calendar of the soul and the hallelujah during the 12 holy nights between Christmas and Epiphany. This is my intention with giving you this beautiful gift.
Your gift, your wish, your prayer. Okay, back to questions. Daniel asked, is the calendar verse in the PDF today?
Yes, it is. It was in last week's, and
Yes.
last week's is the same as this week's, almost the same. I made minuscule change to say that it was for lesson 3 instead of lesson 1. But yeah, you've got it. The page 12, the famous page 12.
The famous. Jessica asked, you mentioned 9 books of Rudolf Steiner's forms. Where are they available?
Huh. Goodness, where are they available now? I don't know. I don't know where they're available now. They I just heard a conversation among eurythmists who said that they couldn't find this one of the calendar of the soul verses anymore. And so there was some chatter amongst eurythmists saying, yeah, where are they? They aren't available right now. That they aren't available at the Goetheanum. I don't know where else they might be available. Maybe I'll be able to find out, but I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's a budgeting publishing thing, and eurythmists are lamenting and lots of sadness and disappointment that they couldn't find the books right now. But
yeah,
I don't know, maybe they're online. Two, let me speak to that for a second. Being online, sorry, Michelle, got to do this.
I understand.
Rudolf Steiner did these forms in pencil. I'll tell you more about them later. And then these books have the published forms, but there has long been a tradition that we should not just photocopy them. We actually should draw them out ourselves with tracing paper. And in doing that, it's a little bit like practicing form drawing, that you practice the ins and the outs and the curves and the squares and the direction changes. So I spent the year and a half that I lived in Dornach, every week I spent about 2 afternoons in the library just tracing all the forms that Rudolf Steiner had made for music and for English poems. So there's a lot to be said for tracing the forms yourself if you could ever get them.
I have a feeling your Airbnb is going to be full.
Great.
Okay, Daniel said, oh, I mean the calendar verse form. Is that in the PDF?
The one that I just made. No, but I could put it in there. If 20 of you right now say yes, 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 I'll do it. It'll take me a little bit of time.
Okay.
But, or did you mean the one for the one that Rudolf Steiner made? Did you mean this little simple one that I have for you?
Okay, Daniel, you're going to have to answer that one. We will come to it in a moment. We've got 18 new messages waiting below right where I am. Here we go. Joanna said, can you please tell us ahead of time if you are pulling us or not? It is too confusing otherwise. I would personally—
Joanna, yes.
Always do the movement the same way, regardless of facing us or not. Okay. All right. And then let's see. Lisa, I am trusting that yours is a comment, a statement, gratitude. Here's a question. Okay. A question from Ayana. Can you recommend reading to deepen our understanding of the reverse workings of the etheric body?
Oh, I find it scattered. If I can, I'd be glad to tell you. I find it scattered in many things that Steiner said, and I haven't found a place where he writes about it as much as I wish. Some of the people who've done projective geometry books have written about it, like Olive Witcher. No, I can't, but if I carry it, maybe Destiny will put it in the book that I read this week. Sometimes that happens, you know.
I love it when that happens. Yes. Okay, comments. Oh, dear Daniel. Daniel said a simple one for the form for the calendar verse, the simple one. Okay, and then, oops, wait a minute, it jumped. Love to have that form so I can trace during holy nights. Yes, would love to have the simple form drawing in the PDF. Yes, and you can add me to the S. Okay, there we go. Dear Cynthia, whoo!
Well, let's let people get on with their day, and let's remember what's ahead of us. This week is the week of solstice, the 20th, so that's next Monday, and the grand conjunction, which we've been watching in the sky. And if you have a chance, you can still see Jupiter and Saturn so close to each other, and they will be their closest on the solstice. And some people call this actually the Christmas conjunction, that it's the same conjunction that happened around the time of the birth in around 6 BC, but that's a longer story I can't go into. Maybe that was actually the birth that it's referring to. Possibly that's the star that the wise men were following, possibly. This conjunction is Jupiter and Saturn, and here in my time zone, I can see it until about 6 or quarter after 6 at night. And it's over in the west, a bit above the rising sun, setting sun, sorry, sun sets in the evening. A bit, so shortly after it starts to get dark, but not too late, go out and look towards the west, and you'll see these planets are that close together now. It's really beautiful. Jupiter is the bright one, Saturn's less bright. And those who are star masters are urging us to just consider this has got also something to do with a culmination of this 9-month cycle and things that are happening in our time. So, hallelujahs and good work, and let's harvest goodness and plant seeds for the future. Thank you, people. It's been a pleasure to be with you again, and I look forward to seeing you next week on the solstice or the day after. Right? Be well. Thank you.